All right, I'm Billy Wade. We're going to talk to you about as far as how we set up our combs and cutters on our Shear Masters. It is relatively simple. We've got, of course, you've got your electric clippers, and you've got the different combs that you're going to use. All the combs that we use, no matter what their purpose is, they all get set up the same way on the Shear Master. The combs being the big blade, which is on the bottom, the cutter being the small blade, which is on the top. And what you do need, the only tool that you'll need is a screwdriver, just a standard screwdriver. I like to use what they call a shearing screwdriver, just a little bit easier to handle as far as putting the blade on. So you'll turn the clippers over. You've got your cutter, which is a 4-point cutter, and there are two little points right here that will hold there's a hole in the cutter, and it sits right down there, and that holds the cutter in place. Then we've got our comb. This one is actually a P7112. They call it a goat comb. I use it for shearing bellies and shearing their cheeks, where you want a nice smooth shear job. They also, with these, it's not as easy to cut them as it would be with a General 13 shearing comb. So we slide the comb onto the Shear Master like that, and what I do is kind of watch and keep the same distance, keep it level right across here. Then we'll just kind of tighten it down a little bit. We'll turn it over to see where our cutter is lining up on the comb. Now what you'll see on every comb is there's a face where it has been sharpened, but on the tip there's what they call its bevel, and what that means is the tip is smooth, so the sharpening, the actually cutting surface of the blade does not come completely out to the tip. You've got about 1/8 of an inch on the end that won't cut. So what you want to do is you want to back that cutter up to where the tip of the cutter, which is the top blade, is right up to the edge of that bevel. So now we've got our comb and cutter set up the way we want it. We'll turn it over, and I'll hold it in place with one finger. And I'll tighten each of them down, and I'll go back and I'll retighten to make sure. Now what we have on the top of the cutter, there's a rod that runs from here down to the cutter. This is what puts the tension on the cutter, that puts the two blades together, mash them together. And what I'll do is tighten them down to where they're snug, and then once you start shearing the sheep, then you'll figure out if they're not cutting very well, then you can try tighten down somewhat. We're just small turns. Don't really crank down on it because you'll burn the blade up. Then you have to go back and have them sharpened again. So I'll snug it down to where it's just somewhat tight. Then we'll try it on a sheep and see if it works.